Yo guys, this is Cob, and patch 5.1 has landed, so I'm just going to do this quick video to go over the changes, say what I think about them, all that kind of jazz. Alright, so it's all pluses, in my opinion, maybe apart from the stealthy little Chaos Bolt nerf that they threw in there, and didn't actually mention on the patch notes, which is quite irritating, but whatever. We've got Demonic Gateway, now has to be activated by the player who wants to teleport. This is actually a really good change, because in a lot of arenas, I found that the gateway wasn't working for my partners. I don't know if anyone else has found this bug, but sometimes it would work for them, sometimes it wouldn't. They'd literally be like wiping their ass on the side of the gateway and it still refused to send them to the other gateway. It was quite irritating, so this change is really good in my opinion. Next off, Kil'jaeden's Cunning no longer imposes a cast time penalty, and I tested this out in a battleground as soon as the patch went live. I was really excited about Kil'jaeden's Cunning. But while it's really fun in BGs and you can just dance around while you cast spells, you never have to stop moving, it's really fun to play with. But when it comes down to it, it means you've got to have an extra keybind in place to cancel casting, just to fake cast people in an arena. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It makes your class a lot harder to play, and the benefits you get from it, being able to move while casting, aren't always useful in any way at all. And in my opinion, in an intense environment like an arena, this becomes more of a hindrance than a buff of any kind. I think Manaroth's Fury is still definitely the way to go. Banish is now effective against aberrations, and I haven't tested this, but I think this means that it affects Psi-Fiends. It's a bit of a pointless change because now the Psi-Fiend only has 10% of the priest who summoned its health, and that means that it dies in pretty much 2 Fel Flames. But anyway, fairly good. Rain of Fire no longer causes a stun after hitting a target 3 times. Now, I was receiving a lot of messages and a lot of comments that were questioning whether I'd still go with this talent. Of course the stun was really nice, it would provide you a random little interrupt every now and then, could sometimes actually be life-saving. But it doesn't do that anymore, so it's basically all about Ember generation now from Rain of Fire. And honestly, I'm really happy about this. As you can see, Aftermath will now grant Rain of Fire's damage over time effect to generate a burning Ember, and it no longer requires Immolate to be present on any of the targets. I really like this, I think it's awesome, and especially because of the next change that is directly beneath it, and that's Rain of Fire's damage over time will now hit every 1 second, down from 2 seconds. That means it's going to be hitting people twice as often per cast, and that means a lot more Ember generation. Conflagrate now generates burning embers as well, so that's Rain of Fire and Conflagrate now. And of course the last change to Demonic Gateway, its duration has been increased to 15 minutes and it will no longer despawn if you go too far away. Now there is one sneaky ass little change that they haven't even included in the patch notes. I know some other classes have been nerfed and those changes weren't included in the patch notes either. But the change actually is that when you use Grimoire of Sacrifice, probably the most common Grimoire for all Destral locks as well at the moment, it does everything as normal apart from when it comes to Chaos Bolt. The Chaos Bolt won't deal a bonus 25% damage directly, but it will instead deal 25% bonus damage as a 3-second damage over time effect. And this means that your damage won't be affected overall, but it will be less bursty. I've actually just finished doing some arenas and it doesn't affect the game too much, apart from that we very rarely one-shot opponents anymore in the openers, so it's taken some of the fun out of it, but to be honest it needed to be done. Similar to how Warriors Taste for Blood can't stack up to 5 anymore in arenas, they can't one-shot you anymore like that. So guys, looking at that overall, I think it's a pretty good patch for the Warlock. I think we've got a substantial amount of buffs, more buffs than I first thought. I didn't think that the increased Ember generation, coming from Rain of Fire generating Embers and Conflagrate also generating Embers, I didn't think that that would actually help us out that much, but it surprised me. And as a result of this change, my stat priorities have completely changed. I did prioritize critical strike chance under the pretense that the more I landed critical strikes, the more embers I would generate, and the more quickly I would generate embers. However, I'm finding now that crit is just completely useless, basically because we generate so many embers anyway, because Conflagrate and Rain of Fire are there to help us out now. And because we now have so many embers, I'm gemming around and reforging around the idea that I want to put these embers to the best use, and that is by stacking Mastery. It only makes sense. If you're going to have more embers to use Chaos Balls with, then why not make those Chaos Balls even more powerful? So that's my stat priority guys, starting with the 6% hit, then stacking Mastery, then crit, and then haste right at the bottom. Anyway, so overall I think that this is a really good patch. I think we're going to have some really good times with it, and I guess the Cobrak 16 trailer, or teaser, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to make it into a trailer yet, or a teaser, or whatever. And the giveaway video will also be included in that. That's going to be out within a few days from now. So stay destro guys, now more than ever. I'll see you all in the next video, and have fun.